Welcome to Crack It. In this video, we are going to discuss about a very important feature of the Spring Boot concept, externalization. We are going to discuss about the microservices related interview questions that is covered under this topic along with the coding explanations. We will also see what the interview questions related to deploying the Spring Boot application in a Docker based on externalization concept. We have launched this channel new, so we request you to like, share, and subscribe our content if you like the video. These are the interview questions that we are going to cover in this video. What is externalization in the Spring Boot? Why do we need it? How is it useful while developing the microservices? And how to configure the properties of in different profiles, say dev, test, and prod. We need to configure different values for the different properties. How do we need to do it? And how is this externalization configuration helpful in the case of microservices development? And suppose say we have multiple instances of the application spanned, and we need to configure a parameter to display different messages in the different instances in case of the microservices. How can that be achieved? And how can we configure multiple parameters when multiple instances of the application is spanned? If my application is deployed using Docker, we'll see all these interview questions in this video. So what is this externalization? So whenever we develop an application, what is this externalization in Spring Boot? Whenever we develop an application, we need to follow the 12-factor principle. So according to the 12-factor principle, we should not define any of the configuration values in our code base. Instead, we need to define it in our properties file. So the configurations should be supplied by the environment in which the application is deployed and not anywhere in the code. So to satisfy this concept, to satisfy defining the configuration values outside the code base, Spring introduces the concept of this externalization. So now what is this externalization? Externalization is nothing but the configuration properties of the application are externalized. It will be present outside the application jar and not in the code base or not inside the application jar. Also with Spring Boot, we can deploy the same application code in different environments. So what does that mean? All our configuration parameters are not inside the code, it's outside the code. It's not in my application jar file, it's somewhere residing outside. So I can deploy the same application code in different environments, say dev, test, and prod. How is it possible? It is possible through this externalized configuration. Why? Because my properties files are moved out of the code and it is staying aside. We can understand that through the coding example that we are going to see in few minutes. So where will we define all those configurations? We will define all our configurations in a properties file. That is nothing but the application.properties file which Spring Boot facilitates, or we can define it in the YAML files, or we can define those parameters through the environment variables or the command line arguments. Through all these ways, we can externalize our configuration properties. Why do we need this concept of externalization in Spring Boot? So it is a very, very important feature. So we in today's world, we don't have a single application. We don't have a monolithic application that is running in a single server. No, that is not the case. We are developing our applications in microservices way, and we are deploying all our microservices to the cloud environments. So if I move my application into my cloud environment, it means that my dev environment is different, my test is different, my pre-prod is different, and my prod is different, which means that the secrets associated with, say, AWS is different for dev, test, and the other environments. So I cannot change in my code each time to change the properties that I need to define for my different cloud environments. Instead, I need to define all those in my properties file, which is not related to the application jar file, but it is residing somewhere outside. So secrets of each of the environments will be different, which can be configured, externalized through the Spring externalization. Also, If we are if we are dockerizing our application, we will also be able to take the properties from an external configuration file. So why? Because in few of the cases, developers will not have access to the secrets that AWS has, or the database passwords of the protection environments. In that case, the configuration properties will be overridden by the DevOps team, so that they can provide values to those specific protection related values which the devs don't have access to. So in that case, Spring externalization is really useful. These are the possible values that we can provide in our configurations file, say, which may differ for each of our environments: database credentials, secrets, host addresses of the dependent services. So what is it? Suppose in our microservices world, we will call say 5 different services from a single service, and the host address of the calling services will be different for each of the environments. Suppose, say, from dev server, the host address will be different, but for the test, the host address will be different. So for all those cases, we need to configure that in our application properties file, or the configuration files, we will say. So retrieve and timeouts, suppose, say, for the dev environment, I can keep the retrieve and timeouts to be 2 minutes, and but for the production I'll keep it for 30 milliseconds. So the parameters is different for the different environments. So these type of the parameters should be residing in the configuration file. The concurrency factor, the logging levels, say for a dev environment, I'll keep it as like debug, but for the other environments, I want to keep just info and error. So those properties which is changing for each of the environments, and the application specific properties which we will define in our application code, and we will read it in our application code. So all these are the possible values that can be configured or externalized through Spring Boot applications. Let's now understand it through the coding example. So let's now see the steps that are involved in configuring the properties as multiple profiles in Spring Boot application. So by default, Spring will give us application-properties.file. So if we need to define say dev profile and cloud profile, 2 different profiles, then you can create 2 different application properties file. How? application-dev.properties. If it is cloud, then application-cloud.properties. Then what do we need to do? We have created 2 application.properties. This is the first step. Second, we need to add the profiles tag in our pom.xml, and we need to define the properties for each dev profile and cloud profile. And what do we need to do? We need to provide which is the active profile in our application.properties file. So like we can see it in code in IntelliJ. So as we discussed, we have created 2 profiles. One is cloud profile and the other one is dev profile. So this application.properties file, this is provided by Spring framework when we create our application through Spring Initializer. So we want 2 different profiles. One profile is cloud and the another is dev. So we have created 2 application properties for each of those profile. This is the first step. Next, what do we need to do? We need to add these profiles in our pom.xml. So we have to go to our pom.xml and we need to check whether that profiles has been added or not. Yes, we have added those profiles. One is dev and the another one is cloud. So which profile should be activated by default? So dev profile will be activated by default for me. Why? I have given this activation active by default to true to my dev profile. So if I didn't provide any of the profile information while I run my application, then my dev profile will be activated by default. So then what is the next step? I'll need to go to my application.properties and I need to provide which profile should be active. So Spring profiles.active, what I'm doing, so I can give, if I give directly dev here, it will always fetch the dev information while I run. So what I am doing is now I have provided something called activated properties inside my properties of dev and cloud. So what this will do, if I provide my active profiles value as dev while running my application, it will pick the dev profiling. If I provide cloud, it will give cloud profiling. So what I'll do is I'll go to edit configurations and I'm not defining any of the active profile information here. I will apply, and if I run it, so what happens? So my application is up. And also I want to see, I want to show something to you here, that I have a controller. In that, what I did is I'm just reading the value of this crack it message. So where and all I have defined my crack it message, I have defined it in my application.properties, I have defined it in my application cloud.properties, and I have defined it in my application dev.properties. So, and once I started my application, you can see that the following one profile is active as dev. Why it is dev? Because in my pom.xml I have provided this as my default profile. So if I didn't pass any information, it will pick dev. So now let's run this, let's call this controller and see whether it is fetching the information from the dev profile. So I'll open my Postman and I'll call it. So if you see here, it is fetching the value from app.app-dev.properties. So if you see here, the message that I have given here is crack it application value in app dev.properties. So in my controller, I am fetching the value that is defined in my properties file using this @value annotation, and I am assigning that to my message, and I am returning that message using this get mapping. So if I didn't provide any of the profile information while running the application, it is by default picking up the dev profile. So now what I'll do is I'll edit my configuration and I'll say that it needs to pick my cloud profiling. So let's see whether that's happening or not. So I've started my application, and here you can see that the profile active is cloud. So I'll go to my Postman, I'll call it again, and you can see that this will get changed to cloud. Yes, it got changed to cloud. Why? Because it is picking the value from the cloud profile. This is how we need to provide profiling in our Spring Boot application. So we just now saw how we can provide different configuration properties for different profiles. Suppose, say, in a real-time scenario in this microservices world, will we use our configuration files inside our application? The answer is no. Let me explain why. Suppose, say, I have an environment called a pre-prod environment. So I will create application-preprod.yaml file or the properties file in my application code, but I will not know the values for that specific environment. So the application developers will have access only to dev environment or the test environment. So the access to the pre-prod and the prod environments, application developers will not have. So they will not have the values for the secrets that is used in the pre-prod environment or the production environment. Similarly, for the database password, they will not have the database passwords for the pre-prod or the production environment. So in that case, what will happen? Developers will provide a dummy value for the application-preprod.yaml file, and that dummy file will be overridden by the DevOps person with their file in their GitHub repos. How is that overriding of that properties file happening? Let's see how in code now. So this is a very important question wherein you can be asked, like, how are you managing your application properties file for the higher environments? How is that managed? Is it like you have externalized in a separate GitHub repo, or who will do it? You can get this question in a real world. Even I have been asked this question in one of my interviews. So let's see how we can do it. As we discussed earlier, I have defined some dummy properties in my application cloud.properties file. So I need to override it. So I have suppose I'm the DevOps person and I have that file in this location, say src main resources application -cloud.properties. So I need to override this file with the actual file that is present in the application.jar file. So how can I do that? So I am using Docker. So we are using Docker we are dockerizing our application. I'm not deep diving into Docker. I'll just explain the commands that I use here. I'll put a separate videos for Docker and the Docker interview questions in our future videos. So here what I did is, like, we are using JDK 11, Java 11 version, and the working directory I'm just giving it as /crackit. So I have a file here which has the actual properties, and I'm copying that file to my working directory, say /crackit / the application -cloud.properties file. Also, I am copying my jar file, my actual application.jar file, which I have got by running maven clean install. So I'm copying that file also to my application /crackit application.jar file, and I'm exposing the port as 9080, and I have given the entry point as java-jar application.jar, and I'm setting the profile as cloud --spring profiles active equals cloud. So if we give like this, what will happen? This will override the application -cloud.properties configuration present in the jar by the application -cloud.properties file that we copied. So which file it will pick? So I have the dummy values file inside my jar file. I want to replace that file with the file that I have copied. So this Docker will do that for me. This command will do that. So we just saw how we can override the entire application YAML file that is present in a different location to our application jar. So that will be useful when we need to override multiple properties in our application jar file. But I need to override only one property in my application.properties file. How can I do that? It is very simple. So the syntax is very similar to that of the one previously we saw. So we are using JDK 11, and we have a working directory crackit. We are copying the jar file that we got through our application to the application.jar file in the crackit directory, and we are exposing it to the port 9080. So here, if you see, what are we doing? We are giving java-jar this application.jar file, and I am passing the parameter value which I need to override. So I need to override --crackit.message parameter, and the value of that crackit.message is message from Docker. So if we run my application, and if I host it in my Docker, and if I call that through Postman, then what will happen? So this message from Docker will be printed. Why it is printed? Because I am overriding that specific value in my application.properties file. So as I told earlier, I'll cover a separate video for Docker's tutorial and the interview questions. I'll cover that separately. Thanks for watching Crackit. Please support us with your likes, shares and subscriptions. Stay tuned for updates.